Another video of daily wallet finds. Alright. So actually, Dustin Morgan over at Coin Opp sent me a few photos today. We talk all the time about YouTube videos and stuff. We've been friends for a long time. And he actually found a really good fancy serial number radar bill today, and I will show you pictures that he sent me at the end of the video. If you like coin roll hunting, rare coins, and other currency forms, definitely check out Coin Opp. It's our sister channel, and we've been doing this stuff together for a while. Dustin's channel is wonderful to learn from for absolutely free. So check out the link to that in the description box below. Without further ado, let's look through some bills. So obviously, I look at condition a lot as I first pick up a bill. You know, for instance, this $5 bill here, we can look at a few things. So, collectible things about bills, if you don't watch any of my videos, would be obvious things like miscuts and misprintings if you had, say, the bill was off-center entirely, or miscut where a portion of the bill was no longer annotated properly due to the cut. Stuff like that are a lot more rare versions, varieties and errors in bills. However, they are stuff that does come along. Also, things where foreign objects were printed onto the bill as it was in the process of being produced. Those are a little bit more common, I would say. I have a couple of those in my collection where, say, a scrap piece of paper or dust or something like that got on the actual bill during the process of it being printed. But in this case, this bill looks to be pretty standard. We would look at the serial numbers also, see if they match. So on this bill specifically, it's a Series 2013. Let's get closer to see that if we can. I don't have my magnifying glass set up today, so it's a little bit different. But the serial's number would be down here, 2013. Serial numbers match. Let's look at the reverse of the bill. This one's also very folded up. So one thing to take into consideration with any bill as you're bill searching is, of course, the overall condition of the bill, and whether or not that's going to play into the value. It always does play into the value, but what I'm saying is essentially, like in this case, this bill is totally messed up as far as folds and stuff are concerned, so that detracts a lot of face value if it did have a percentage gain, if it was a fancy serial number. Next bill. Same thing, this dollar's a lot more beat up than, say, something that's less circulated, or something that's just been taken care of and hasn't seen so many pockets and folds. It's already got a bifold in it, so that's one aspect of it. We know our plate numbers are annotated here or here, and where my thumbs are pointing above the 3, which is the district number. Our district letter is annotated here within the Federal Reserve seal, and our Department of the Treasury seal is here under Washington, D.C. And this dollar bill, you know, it depicts Washington. I think that's a cool depiction of presidential depiction on it. Our reverse looks pretty standard. It looks like it's been through a washer. You can tell because the discoloration and the spread of the ink along the edges, as you can see that discoloration. So nothing really there. We'll look here. When I first see zeros in the front, it could be a date bill. Unfortunately, this one is definitely not. There's no such thing as May 80th, 8744, so we'll move on. Birthday notes, as far as date notes, are a lot more collectible because they can, of course, be connected to someone's birthday or a very important date, an important date in history. So, you know, something like July 4th, 1776 would be a great serial number to have. However, we don't have that here, so not as much of a fun. One thing that kind of throws me off, too, is, you know, they change the actual font type when they do the denominations on a $20 bill on the back there, whereas on the front it maintains the bill almost entirely as far as what types of fonts are used. They're also similar to previous prints of $20 bills. Over the years, they've added different anti-counterfeiting measures. So you have like the depiction of your eagle here with the crescent shield, as well as your numerical 20 value here with a different coloration in it. These are all ways to determine people from fraudulently making copies of bills, but nothing really collectible here. Nothing really stands out on the reverse either, so we'll move on. Next $20 bill. I love seeing repetition, 927928, but not enough repetition to really be something to call home about. Our signatures for the Secretary of Treasury. What's interesting, actually, and I will show this in another bill to talk about individual errors, but let me see if I can reposition this slightly, so then I can zoom in and show you exactly what I'm talking about here. will get my little extra part of my magnifier. I just had the regular, I just had it non-magnified. So, there we go. It doesn't look that great, but we'll get onto it. So, this is a good example right here if we can. Let me cut the light off on this. There we go. So if you notice there on the E on the Secretary of, there we go. On Secretary of the Treasury, you see that E? That's going to be an over ink error. So basically too much ink got put down. Now that I'm looking at it, we see some ink splotch down here. It could just be a pen or something, but we'll look closer at that. Because that, although very small, is an error if it is in fact what I think it is. But it looks like it might be just, yeah, we got a lot of splatter. It could just be a broken pen in a pocket. And then we got like gum or something back here, so we're going to say this bill is more just post-production damage there. Let's move on to the next one. We got a serial number ending in 3944-1995. But let's do a scan over since I have my magnifier. I'll just kind of keep it throughout the rest of the video. But you know, we have our United States Federal Reserve stamped there, Department of the Treasury, so on and so forth. But I don't see anything really out of place about this bill. Our serial numbers match up, so that's something that we can keep in mind there. And all the cut and stuff, it also has quite a bit of an overpress here, which is interesting. Let's look at that a little closer. So basically what I'm referring to there is if we look at this top corner here and zoom in, you can see right here where the impression of the plate when it put down the number on the front of the bill, in fact printed through the bill slightly. Not really an error, it's pretty common unless it was just incredibly prominent. But let's move on. This one's got a fold in it. Let's unfold that. 56702-181. 56702-181. They both match up as far as serial number is concerned. So lots of other things if you look at other videos of mine. Let me adjust this a little bit. Okay. So we can go back to kind of just looking at the bill as a whole. Nothing really great here, and plus this bill's been folded. Somebody just folded it up and put it in their wallet. That's nothing. A gas receipt. Nothing incredibly collectible about a gas receipt. And then the reverse looks like it's pretty much normal to me. All of our different, you know, our constellation up here within the numerical values and stuff like that is all correct. That's another anti-counterfeiting measure. Our last bill that we're going to look through, another fold up at the top, more of an indentation. And then we look like our serial numbers match up. Everything's all even. It's a little high cut, but nothing crazy to collect. Nevertheless, pretty intact bill. So nothing really spectacular we did. If I go back to that other 20 from earlier, I will check that out. But now that I look at it more, even though it could be an over ink down here on the signature, or below the signature rather, with the title, I think it's more of just a post-production damage of somebody dropping pen ink on there. But since we didn't find anything here, let's take a gander at the bill that Dustin Morgan from Coin Opp found. So this is an absolutely wonderful example of a radar bill, or a bill that can be read serial number wise front to back. So we see here it's 101-66101, which I think is a really awesome one. It starts with kind of binary numbers and then has those awesome sixes in the middle there. And it's just a really good example of a radar bill, and quite common of a fancy serial number that you can come across while bill searching. So I really appreciate Dustin sending me these photos to be able to share with you guys, especially since we didn't find anything too fun today in the old wallet find. But stay tuned for more bill searching, and hopefully we'll come across some more fun finds. Send me photos of things that you find so I can share them here. Have a good day.